my name is Sophia, and this is my virtual field trip of Marina Beach in Edmonds. Today the weather is kind of cold and cloudy. There's some sun, but it's very windy. The tide is just going out, so we're a little bit early. But as we continue, we should be able to see more and more. The time is 8:28 a.m. Our first find of the day is this little baby shore crab. He's only a couple of centimeters. Oh gosh, I just threw him. But you could see that he was red with white on top, and he would have camouflaged in really well with this this holdfast on this rock, the red and white. Shore crabs are very common on this beach, and they get much bigger, but he must have just been a juvenile since it's spring. Yeah. So over on the north side of the beach, we have this awesome pipe that tends to be a good habitat for some of the bigger creatures. The tide's still kind of high, but let's see what we can find. Here's another example of a pretty common find on Marina Beach. These two circles, here and here, are actually sea anemones that have closed up. And what's kind of cool about it, you can see that they're covered in white shells, and the sea anemones actually will grab those shells so that they're camouflaged into the sand. But if you poke them, they're still pretty squishy. So try not to step on these guys if you see them. This one has one in the middle. I wonder if he's trying to eat that. And here's an example of that sea anemone with some of its tentacles still out. They are still quite small in diameter, only about 2 inches, but they're quite beautiful. This is a kind of invertebrate that we have in the Salish Sea, and you can see here on the side he's got a little snail friend. These guys do sting, but they are not strong enough to hurt humans. They really only use their stingers to catch fish or anything else that's crawling past them. So if you touch them, just use one finger, and you'll feel that they're pretty sticky, but that's about it. This is an awesome find. This is sugar kelp, which is a type of brown algae. As you can see, they get very, very large. They actually get up to 6 feet in length. This one we identified by the long, flat blade that has these puckers. They're kind of almost like bubbles. This particular kind of kelp ranges all the way from Alaska down to California. Okay, this is kind of a cool find. I have never seen something like this before. If you look at it in the sun, you can tell that it's very gelatinous. It is pretty solid, but you can also see individual spots on the inside, which make me think it's some kind of egg structure. It's not very stringy like you would assume most eggs to be, but what it reminds me of is a moon snail collar, how they solidify their eggs in the sand. I'm assuming that this is something similar. So one of the coolest things about Marina Beach is that out a little bit into some of the sand flats, we actually have an amazing meadow of eelgrass. And eelgrass is really important to this ecosystem because it holds a lot of our biological mass. So the eelgrass acts as a bit of a sanctuary or a nursery for tiny creatures like snails or nudibranchs, which we all know and love. Another thing is that juvenile crabs and fish also grow up there, and a lot of eggs get laid out there. So if you ever see long flats of eelgrass, try your best not to step on it, go around. But the unfortunate thing about this meadow of eelgrass is that we have a major human impact. Marina Beach has its own dog park, and they do try to limit which section of the beach that the dogs are allowed to go on. But dogs are messy, and they dig, and they step on anything and everything. And so, like you can see those ones, some of them dig and they'll dig up creatures, or especially their waste is a major has a major impact on this ecosystem. I hope you enjoyed our little field trip to Marina Beach and learned a couple things about some of the creatures that we have, and how we can reduce some of our human impacts to keep these creatures here for a long time.